All right, let's have a look at the TTF front month for the week starting 27th of November. Can't believe it. The year is nearly over. I've been in a Christmas mood for the past couple of weeks. I don't know what it is, but this year I'm feeling really good about it. So, on the TTF, what do we see here? So, we did still have this ascending triangle that broke higher, and since then, nothing really happened. We did see a hammer potentially, if this is counted as a downtrend, and you have a hammer, but it might not come true. So we might not see a bounce. On the daily chart, we do see that, yeah, there's some mild potential for gain, but ultimately the idea is to still move lower. And intraday, at the start of this week, we might, even if we start a little bit stronger, which isn't even that sure, we'll probably drop lower instantly. So let's start with a weekly chart. So you can see one change from last week is that now we are working with directional arrows. The firm arrows are the preferred direction, and the dotted arrow is like the alternative case. Because with technical analysis, we need to know when we are wrong, and we also need to be prepared for the alternative, right? Okay, so I do not believe that this hammer here, so if this is counted as a mild down leg, that we'll see any significant gains here. And that is because we did not get any bullish signal from the stochastic, and we still have some room to grow lower. So I do believe that for now, we are probably petering out here in this sideways range. Ultimately, the idea is still for the market to move higher because we do see that the MACD, which is a momentum and trend tool, both in one, is still heading higher. So ultimately, the idea is to still push above the 200 EMA and also 56.17. I want to show you the Ichimoku cloud as well, because we as traders need to be aware of what everyone else is seeing, right? So we do see that we have the 200 EMA, we have the high of this candle, and we do have the Ichimoku cloud border right here. So all of these three things offer some really solid, really strong resistance that the bulls would have to push through if they decide to actually make a move. Now, on the daily chart, we do see that we have been in this uptrend, right? This longer channel, and since October, we have been moving lower. But here's the thing: so there's two different ways of interpreting the current market. So you could say that it is sideways within the 4343 and 4919 range. Yeah, so you can see that sideways, or you might see it as a descending channel if you do this here, for example. There you go. If you draw in these parallel lines, this channel, then you might be inclined to see this as a downtrend channel. So first things first, horizontal lines are usually more objective than angled lines, just by the very nature. Here we only need like 1 point to confirm it, right? But with an angle, why did I draw it here and not like here or here or here? Yeah, so the minute detail might be different. But overall, we are still forming lower lows and lower highs. You can see even if this is marginal, it is still happening as per definition. However, I do see that, yep, we might see a little bit of gain early this week, even if it's just for like a Monday or a Tuesday. Yeah, but ultimately, we should at latest stop out at 4919. And then the idea is that losses continue thereafter, possibly even towards the lower trend channel. Why do I believe that? We still have some gains left for the stochastic before we even move into overbought territory. However, after that, we do see that the MACD overall is still bearish, at least right now, right? So that would mean that, yep, a little bit of gains before losses continue. So that's the idea for now. Alternatively, we know that the whole idea of downside is wrong if after this little correction, we start pushing above this thick resistance here until like 50.4, because then we could make it all the way until 5445 without any hesitation, because there's not much resistance in the way here. So once again, I'm just drawing on the Ichimoku cloud to see where we are. Then we realize that, so this here essentially, so I'm just zooming, this way. I'm zooming out. We can see that the market has distanced itself from the Ichimoku cloud for quite a bit. That is usually not sustainable. So this nearing to the Ichimoku cloud makes sense, essentially. Yeah. And what we want to see is, but there's a chance for the market then to break lower even, right? But this would truly mean some stronger bearishness, where we would undo like the midterm trend of the Ichimoku cloud, breaking below it in order to make it to the lower channel boundary. So this is like a thick area of resistance that we would have to break through. Okay, and the last bit, let's have a look at the 15-minute chart. Here we do see that overall the idea is for the market to potentially, even if we do see a little bounce, the idea is still for the market to go lower overall. Why do I believe that? Because the potential for a bounce is mild, almost non-existent, but we do see that the stochastic kind of hinged. So hinging means we have a downtrend and then we kind of flatline or go in the other direction. So there's a chance for the market to pull a little bit higher, or at least open a little bit stronger. But the idea, as MACD shows, and also the shorter term moving averages show, the idea is still for the market to move lower overall. At least if we break below 4565, we could easily make it to 44.8. And here's the thing, remember 44.8 is also on the weekly chart, this really important support level. So that is it for the TTF front month. Before we move over to the next contract, I have a little favor to ask. If you find any of this useful, then please consider sharing it with your colleagues if you think they would get something out of it as well. Would really mean a lot to me. I'm just trying to spread some knowledge here, and if you want to learn more, go to clevermarkets.com. Alright, now let's go on with the contracts. And the next market we are looking at now is the Brent front month. Okay, so what we see here on the weekly chart essentially would lead to probably more losses. So we did end the week with a doji candle. So it means we're kind of like trying to figure out a direction. And ultimately, we are still more likely to resolve lower. And we do see on the daily chart that we've got a good trend channel going on here, which is essentially this. And here ultimately as well, it is most likely downside continuation that we are going to see early this week. Why is that? Because we have formed a little bit of a peak here, which is then also visible on the stochastic. And ultimately the idea is to move below 78.41. Here, one more thing. So we have been forming this lower peak for quite some time. So we do have a hammer, a second hammer, a third hammer. But throughout these days, I did say that probably we are not yet pushing lower, but now we actually have. So I think there's a good chance for us to move lower. And on the intraday chart, however, we might see somewhat stronger open at the start of this week, because we did end last week with a bullish signal. We did have a little bit of spinning top happening here. So here's a condition, however. If we break above the 23.6% FIB retracement, which is 80.62, then we are, oh my God, this is all over the place here. Then we would be very likely to correct even higher and higher and higher. Usually corrections go to the 50% to the 61.8% FIB. Once we've corrected higher, then we are most likely to continue lower in line with the moving averages and the MACD. So first a little bit higher and then lower again. Here we do have to look at each FIB in its own. We have to take it one FIB level at a time. If we break above here, then we are moving here, then we're moving here, right? So if we fail somewhere here, then we'll just probably continue lower a little bit earlier. And that is it for Brent front month. And that's it for this week's Outlook. If you found that useful, then please consider sharing it with your network. My name is still Marcello Colax. You can find me on LinkedIn. I am very active there. Every single day I post my thoughts on the European energy markets there. So do give me a follow, connect with me, and check out what else we have to offer at clevermarkets.com. Thank you very much and see you around.